pile of useless wood somewhere. But yeah, man. So this residency, as you know, is great. Freddie wants a podcast. Freddie wants a podcast.
Freddie wants a podcast. Hey, come. I just want you to jump on me and I'll talk behind you and pretend it's the dog interviewing you.
Yeah, Freddie. Okay. Don't tell Rosie.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the third episode of Beer 30 with Mike McGuinness. And on today's episode, we have Jack Evan Johnson.
Cheers.
Cheers. Beer 30. What time is it?
It's I think it's beer 30. Frank, it's beer 30.
Freddie.
Freddie?
Freddie, you're already drunk.
Want some little schnitzel, yeah? Alright, so this is our third episode of Beer 30. Second episode we had Hard Pipe Bears. First episode we did have Imagine Dragons, but they cut that interview short when I asked them if they could imagine playing better music. So today we have Jack Johnson of Dude City, Danger Boner, and the Jack Evan Johnson Experience.
That's it. That's the one.
But I think we're gonna start this talking about you're probably the only personal friend I know that actually does international touring, and you went out and toured around Australia for how long were you out there for?
Almost a year. Yeah.
How was that? Was it better than America?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, no, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think every city's about as shitty as the next.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I lived there for about 10 months in Melbourne and played. You know, got pretty lucky and putting a band together right away. Met some guys at a bar and ended up moving in with one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up being my bass player. You know, it just all sort of worked out. And yeah, in Melbourne, there's a lot of venues. You know, a lot of good bands. But you know, it's still a hustle. It's still hard to make money. It's still hard to, you know, get a lot of people come out to a gig.
Yeah, still got promo just like any other town in the States too.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I've learned from
front door.
Yeah.
Gotta stay safe out here. It's rough in the streets.
From playing in Vegas, Australia, touring around, you know, America, and now living in Nashville. I mean, every you know, you gotta put the work in no matter where you are.
You gotta actually be out on the scene to make shit happen, is what it seems like.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna move to any one city or you know do any. There's no magic bullet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all the same rules apply. You know, I can have a good band and, you know, make friends and be cool and, you know, invite people to your gigs and, you know, play gigs at the good venues with good support, you know. I mean, it's same thing no matter where you go.
Show up prepared and more people will show up next time.
So so I had plenty of, you know, bummer shows in Australia and I had some great ones as well.
Did you mostly stay in Melbourne or did you actually travel around Australia doing like a bunch of different cities?
I didn't tour in Australia in the way that we would like think of touring here. I basically lived in Melbourne, played a lot of shows there. it's really hard to tour in Australia because it's really expensive and everything is just spread out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Australia is you know, roughly the size of the United States, and from, you know, I mean, just from like Melbourne to the next big city, which would be Sydney, I mean, it's like 12-hour drive, you know.
Oh, really?
So there's only a handful of you know, big cities there to play, and you know, it's just costly.
Yeah, so you didn't end up playing any kangaroo bars in the middle of it?
No kangaroo bars. I did travel a little bit to see family, and brought my guitar, you know, with me, and kind of picked up a couple little last minute gigs, like little open mic things, and just so, I mean, I did play in other places other than Australia, but it wasn't like with my band, and it wasn't, it wasn't, I wouldn't consider it a tour, you know, but I played other places than Melbourne, for sure.
That's cool. And you were born in Australia, weren't you?
Yeah, my grandma was, you remember my grandma? Do you remember?
God, I don't know if I did, I was probably drunk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she was Australian, and my parents were living over there for a little while when I was born. Lived there just for a little while when I was a baby. And, you know, so I don't remember living there as a kid, and my parents were American, you know, so, but I you know, I'm a dual citizen, which is pretty fucking cool, you know. That's how I was able to go over there and just move over there and
stay for as long as you did.
And just stay, and you know, even got on the dole, which is unemployment, you know, so
really?
Yeah, because I got a fucking passport. I just like showed up, you know, I mean, I looked around for a job, you know, I mean, you know, kind of. I mean,
none of us really want to work.
Yeah, I mean,
we just want to play music and fucking do shows somewhere.
Especially in Australia, you know. I mean, I wasn't going out of my way to find a job, but yeah, I ended up getting unemployment because I have dual citizenship, and a lot of people over there, a lot of musicians especially, receive unemployment. The government agency that dishes it out is called Centrelink. And they'd refer to, some of my friends would refer to getting unemployment as the Centrelink Music Scholarship.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, like nobody in my band had a job.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been nice. You guys just rehearse whenever, don't have to worry about, oh, I'm getting off work at 4:30.
Yeah.
Until 7 that day.
And they were all quite a bit younger than me too, you know.
Yeah.
Just
how old are those guys out there?
Oh man, like 20, 21.
Oh, really?
One was like 23, 24. But they were like smoking players, and
that is the one thing I've noticed about you. Whenever you put a band together, you always put together. Somehow you always end up with really good musicians. Like you've played with Steve Bonacci. The last show I just saw you play with, you got Rob Whitehead
on drums.
Yeah. One of my favorite guys to watch play always.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, watching him's a learning experience every time.
Let us wait on.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I think you gotta, you know, surround yourself with, you know, people that are gonna elevate you.
Yeah.
You know, especially with what I do. I mean, I'm not like some, you know, amazing like guitarist or anything. I mean, so I kind of need a band to sort of like fucking, you know, push, you know, kind of push you to. You know, or maybe just fake it till you make it, man.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
you always had good bands and all that stuff. Yeah, you might not be Steve Vai on the guitar, but your lyrics are some of the best that I've heard from any of the musicians that I've played with before. And I know before you were doing full-time music stuff, you were journalist for the Boulder City newspaper, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that had anything to contribute to like your lyric writing? I mean, of course it did, but like, do you use the things?
What do you think, Freddie? I think this is time when we take a drink.
Yeah,
This is the dog bark.
Freddie, you want some beer?
This is the dog bark commercial segment. Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, you went to college for writing and all.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Woof, 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 woof. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I'm mocking you.
What are you talking about?
Why are you putting me on?
Tonight on Conversations During a Show.
Conversations during the show with Mike
Oh boy. Oh yeah.
It's sentimental and it's sweet. And you gotta spit on it.
Yeah, man. I went to college. I went to journalism school. It was like my day job. I think. What do you think?
What do you think, Freddie?
I think, yeah. I mean, when you're, I worked at a newspaper and I wrote news articles, every day for like 5 years, and before that I was in college and I, interned at another newspaper, and I did a lot of writing, and I think when you're in the habit, I mean, it's very different from songwriting, which it's kind of. Journalism is almost like what would that be, like a right brain sort of thing, where you're kind of like collecting facts and just sort of piecing it together. There's like a formula for the sort of thing I was doing. And then songwriting is more like it's more like poetry. It's a little more creative. So they're different. But I think just the act of just getting that work ethic and like writing all the time, and like it makes it easier to write anything, and especially I think the obvious connection is like just the ability to tell a story, because a lot of my songwriting I think kind of and I got we were talking earlier about country music and a lot of the stuff that I've been into. It's very narrative, and so I think what journalism did, if anything, it kind of helped me learn how to kind of like connect the dots, and like kind of get an idea out onto the page, What do you think, Freddie?
We need to get him just a little seat right over here for us, so he can just sit in the
Freddie,
middle.
you want to come?
Freddie.
Part of this?
Come on,
Freddie, you want to drink? We're gonna give him a beer. Come on.
we can get you like right here in the middle, Freddie.
A beer? A drink, Freddie?
So
Anyways.
you went through to Australia, and you're originally from Boulder City. You were out here, and I met you, I want to say 2010. You gave me a call, 2010, late 2009. You gave me a call before January, and you called me up and said, hey, I got this record that I want to do. We have the studio time booked, but I need a drummer. And I just remember you first calling and just being like, hey, this is Jack Johnson, and I need a drummer for a record. And I was like, no way. No, Jack Johnson's calling me right now. And he wants me to play drums on his record. And then you go, yeah, my sister Rosie gave me your number. And I was like, oh. But I have to say, I don't know, I probably wouldn't be playing with all the musicians that I ended up playing with if you didn't call me up and do that and kind of expose me more to the downtown scene.
Really?
I kind of think so. I was playing in another band, but we were playing downtown a little bit, but I don't know. I started touring for the first time with you, which was a really fun tour, and we should talk about that, because that really exposed me to how hard being a musician is. You know, like, because how much did that van cost that you got? That we went out and toured in?
Yeah, it was like a $600 van.
$600 van, didn't know if we
Yeah.
were going to make it, booked a tour that was 2 weeks long,
Yeah.
went all the way out to Chicago, ended up in Chicago on, I want to say it was St. Patrick's
St.
Day?
Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm.
That sucked.
Yeah, there was
Thought it was gonna be cool, man. It was, you know, you're in Chicago St. Patrick's Day, you're gonna party, people are gonna be out partying, you're gonna be out listening to music. No, it sucked, man. That bitch who booked us, like, put us on it. We were the first band on like a 6-band bill or something.
oh, I want to say like 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
It was like it was earlier than that. There was nobody in the bar, and then we played well. I mean, we were on tour. Like I think we brought it, and then it was one of those shows where you'll just like play your fucking ass off, and then you like finish the song, and there's like somebody sitting with their back to you.
Yeah, because there was a Chicago Bulls game on, and everyone was watching the game instead of paying attention to the band.
Yeah, and so you know it was that, and then we had to wait till the end of the show to get paid.
And
Remember
then
that?
Yeah, and it ended up packing out in that bar.
Yeah, the place like filled out, and then we, you know, but of course nobody saw us play, and then we made like our $60 or whatever, you know, because they probably gave all the money to their buddies' bands who were playing. And then you blew your knee out. You remember that? When you were loading your drums in the van, you fucked your knee up.
No, I dislocated my shoulder.
Or your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we somehow got it back in.
Yeah, we had to pull on your fucking, like, pop your thing, right?
And I was sitting there like calmly guiding you guys through that. I was just like, alright, no, put your arm right there. No, go. Don't forget, we got this. And then slowly just slid back in, and I remember you just being like, are you going to be able to play? And I was like, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Happens all the time. Yeah, that tour was a lot of fun, and I mean, you were probably like one of the easier people to tour with, because I mean, you grew up with a BMX background, I grew up skateboarding, so we'd be like, hey, look at that rail, look at those stairs, you know, simple shit like that.
Well, it's like we'd already been doing it, you know, like traveling around, going to, you know, I mean, like driving 4 hours to hit a skate park, or driving 4 hours to play a gig.
Yeah, same exact
It's like the same fucking thing. You're like cousins.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, it's yeah. So I don't know, man. It's that transition from growing up riding BMX.
Yeah. So all right, I just want to say
it was pretty easy
for the people who only know you as Jack Johnson as the musician. You were a pretty good BMX rider back in the day, from what I heard. Like.
Yeah, you know, some people think so. I mean,
got to travel around to competitions and shit like that.
Yeah, I was never like X Games shit, but I was, you know, I was competing and riding skate parks, and you know, got a few things in magazines, and you know, it was a big part of my life for a long time.
How old were you when you were mostly doing that?
I think when it, you know, got most serious in my kind of like late teenage years,
like 16 to 19.
Yeah, probably 16 to 19 is where it sort of like peaked, you know. But then, in college, started playing drums actually, and just got into music, and you know, before I even knew it had happened, I was spending more time playing music than I was riding BMX, and
yep, same here with the skateboarding thing.
Yeah, those things, it's like you almost don't even see it coming, and then, you know, all your other friends are kind of the same things happening to them. They're riding or skating less and less, and people get jobs and girlfriends and, you know, get into other shit, and then next thing you know, you can't remember the last time you've been at a skate park, and you're like, like a fat fuck, and you're
so what
did I do with my life?
my favorite story about that was, so I started picking up drums a lot more seriously when I was 19, and then kind of dropped skateboarding for, I want to say, like almost 2 or 3 years, and then kind of got back into it a little bit, and there was a game of skate competition. So it's pretty much you play horse on a skateboard. And I go and enter over at Silverado Ranch, and I'm missing tricks like a kickflip, a pop shove it. And there was this kid there that remembered me from like when I was younger and competing and like doing really well and putting out video parts. And he looks at me after the competition and just goes, "What happened to you?" And it was just kind of like one of those moments where it's just like, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I ended up doing some shit with drums, so I didn't feel like too bad about it. But that moment.
Yeah, well, I don't think that ever gets easier, man. There's I found out after moving to Nashville that there's a really nice cement park, like 5 or 10 minutes from my house. It's right by the Grand Ole Opry. If anybody's ever been to Nashville, and I brought my BMX bike with me when I moved out there, and you know, I've been out to the park a couple times, but it's like you kind of feel like you're that old guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, whenever I was a kid and I was into riding, there was always that guy that would show up and he'd like have a goatee and he'd be like, "I used to have a red line, brother," and you know, he'd want to like take your bike and like, "Oh, let me ride one of your bikes," you know, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, ride his," you know, nobody wants to give the red line guy your bike, you know, because you know he's gonna fucking like, you know, taco your rim, you know.
It's funny going to the parks now because we are the old guys at the park. You know, I'm 31 right now, and there's kids there that are 12. And I remember being like 12, 13, and smoking weed at the skate park. And the other day, my buddy John shows up and he's like, "Mike, did you bring any weed?" And I was like, "No." But that 12-year-old kid over there smoking a blunt. Maybe I'll let you hit it. And it's really weird, like looking at what a 12-year-old kid looks like smoking weed now. Like compared, like, and that must have been me, because just like, that's a fucking child.
How old were you the first time you smoked weed?
I was 11.
I don't know how old I was.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I was in 4th grade.
Yeah?
But I don't know if it counts. We like stole it from my friend's dad and tried to roll a joint
Mhm.
and like smoke in the bushes next to his house. But like we didn't really know what we were doing because we were in 4th grade, and you know the only thing we knew about rolling a joint was from like a Snoop Dogg like CD or cassette,
Yeah.
like you know, album cover maybe.
First you break up the weed, then you put it in the wrapper.
Yeah,
roll
yeah,
up
so
the wrapper and then light it up.
I don't even think we got high.
Well, that's the right way to
But we
smoke
tried.
your first weed. You steal the weed, you go and fucking have no idea what you're doing, and then you smoke it in the bushes like a scared raccoon eating out of the trash can of the meal that you just stole. Oh man. Yeah. So let's talk more about music, not our adolescent days. So you ended up growing up in Boulder City, right outside of Las Vegas, and it's funny because I feel like Boulder City has a lot of like culture, like music going on and stuff. Like Sandy Nelson, one of the first drummers to get like a drum record in what is it, the top, like a number one song or something like
He had
that?
like 2 top 10 hits
Yeah.
in like 59, 61, I think.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, just a great instrumental rock and roll, kind of like surf rock drummer. You
Yeah.
know?
but
Guess it was dance music at the time, you know.
yeah. So when I first met you, I remember we talked about music a lot. The first person I ever listened to The Bronx was with you. You were just like, "Oh, you never heard The Bronx? Check this shit out."
Yeah.
It was like right up my fucking alley. We talked about Pig Destroyer for a long time. But then we'd also talk about like Tom Petty and a lot of country music and shit like that too. And then we recorded a song on there called Angel from Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
by John Prine, and it grew to be like one of my favorite songs ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's, I mean, like lyric-wise, I could still recite that whole song.
There was a John Prine exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, a John Prine exhibit a couple of years ago, and they had the original handwritten lyrics to Angel from Montgomery
Yeah.
in there, written in red ink. Just like he used a red pen, which I think was
So
kind of interesting.
the first Dude City record you did was like real heavy rock and roll. The second one was still rock and roll, but had like kind of like that country twang
Yeah.
to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I want to know like what made you pick Angel from Montgomery to put on that record.
Marijuana affects the memory.
That's a good question. Why the hell did I start playing that song? I can't remember. It's a great tune. I learned it at one point. Maybe when I was playing with Tristan, maybe she knew it, so I learned it to play with her. I'm not sure. Tristan Moyer, fiddle player friend.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think I was not and am still not the type of musician that does like I'm a songwriter, so like most of what I do is my original stuff, and so when I do learn a song, it's typically something that I have some sort of attachment to.
Yeah, something that means something to you.
Yeah, and I guess that particular tune and the way we were playing it with Dude City, which is just kind of how we started playing it. It was really cool, and I listened to it recently. I hadn't listened to it in years, and it's still cool, man. Like I think it sounds awesome. Like we did
It passed the test.
Yeah, I mean
Test
we
of
did
time.
it. We did it in a way. I mean, maybe one day we'll release it. It's never released it, but it's got like a cool thing. It's kind of like got that like sort of 3/4 thing in the verses, and then it like goes into the 4 on the choruses.
Yep.
And like I've never heard a version of it like that. That wasn't planned. We just like did that.
Yeah, it was just something we were working on that like came out. So I remember that was my first time learning how to like calm down behind the drum set.
Yeah.
Because I'd never played anything like just that. So yeah, I want to talk about that because it's like I remember kind of being younger and thinking to myself, all right, if I play drums and get good enough, this would be a good way for me to see the world and maybe make some money doing it. You know, and then I went out and started touring and saw like you gotta be on your game, you gotta have a fucking package deal, you gotta really be fucking like hustling hard, and I really think that being a professional musician is just as hard as becoming a professional athlete. You know?
Yeah.
With like the dedication you have to have towards it.
Sure.
And
Seems
and
like
all that
it.
stuff.
I wouldn't know. You know?
Really, it seems like you've been working out lately, you know, doing little sit-ups and all that stuff. But
yeah, I mean, music wasn't working out, so figured I'd try the NFL.
yeah.
It's probably easier.
Well, I just gotta run really fast and hit some guy. Oh yeah, let's do that.
It's it. It's like,
Let's do that.
you know, it's like, you know.
But I mean, it's like you left a good job to pursue playing music.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I think
Freddie.
I was doing.
Freddie, come on. You want to be on camera? Come on, Freddie.
Come over here.
Come here.
Freddie wants us to talk about him.
Don't leave. So we gotta talk about Freddie. Freddie's the dog.
Freddie got
Freddie,
raped.
can you drink?
Freddie got raped today.
What?
Yeah, my dad got a new dog and came over and he, you know, Freddie's got that pretty hair and so the dog couldn't resist. But Freddie bit his ass.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of dog was it?
Freddie didn't take no shit. He's like kind of like looks like a cross between a German Shepherd and but he's got like long hair, kind of like a border collie
Oh, okay.
hair, but he's big.
There's another big dog.
Like a shepherd, yeah. But anyways,
Yeah. So you left a decent job
Yeah.
to go and pursue playing music. You left Boulder City, went through Australia, and then ended up in Nashville now.
Yeah.
And I see you're doing a weekly like residency on Thursday nights where it's play a train song.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that, I was like, the fuck would you want to play a train song? The band fucking blows. Like, it's my opinion, if you like Train, that's like totally fine with you. But I mean, like, they sound nothing like Pantera, so I'm just not with it. But yeah, what's the deal behind that?
So I was working at a newspaper in Nevada, in Boulder City, and you know, I did it for a number of years, and while also playing in bands and you know trying to do that, and I had I just kind of like spread myself thin. You know, I felt like I was, you know, doing all right at both, but I didn't really, you know, I wasn't fully committed to either one, and it you know, I wanted to be that, you know, because when I was riding BMX, growing up, that was all I did, you know,
Yeah.
and so I know, you know, how rewarding it can be to have like a singular focus and like really know that you're giving something everything you got,
Yeah.
you know, and I. Not that I'm doing that now. I mean, I think it's healthy to have, you know, multiple interests, you know, but just with the journalism and the music, I mean, those are both like full-time things.
Yeah.
And I did all right in journalism for a long time, but I had to make a decision. And you know, driving around in a van with your buddies, drinking beer and seeing the world, even if you're you know, paying for it with your restaurant job, when you get home, you know, is you know, it was more appealing than, you know, sitting in an office, which a lot of
Working 5 days a week and waiting for Friday?
yeah, which essentially is what, you know, my news reporting job was. I mean, being a news reporter is rad, but there is a structure to it that I didn't want.
Yeah.
And so I went to Australia for a bit. I went to Nashville because I had been going out there for a few years already, working on records. My cousin lived there, and liked a lot of bands who lived there, and just dug the place. And so when I decided to leave Australia, it was pretty obvious where I was going to go. And been there a couple of years, grinding it out, working in a restaurant. You know, I mean, it's real slow in a city like that to see your progress, because there's so much fucking music, and everybody is like the best musician you've ever seen, and every songwriter blow your mind, and there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to try to cut through, you know, and start getting gigs, and, you know, meet the people, and you know, meet friends and bands, and, you know, all that shit, just like anywhere, you know. In any,
Pretty much exactly how you started up in Australia.
yeah, it's the same thing in
Went to some
Australia,
bar.
or like 10 years ago in Las Vegas, the same thing. I mean, I didn't always know. I mean, we were from Boulder City, you know. We didn't know, like, the Neon Reverb guys and the people, you know. I mean, I remember the first show I ever booked. It was at Mateo's in Boulder City at the Boulder Down Hotel. It was a club downstairs, and Chris Mateo, this little dude who ran the place, he's this guy who's always drunk. He had red wine on his lips, like, constantly. I think those are just his lips, you know? And great dude, though. He's like, hey man, can my band play here? And he looks at me, he's like, you have a draw? And I was like, what's a draw? You know?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, and so it's like, you move to a new city, and you gotta kind of, still, you're kind of starting over, you know. And so now it's been a couple of years in Nashville, and you know, I got a good band, and I'm playing quite a bit, and I got this residency every Thursday at a place called the Cobra, just like a dive bar in East Nashville. It's pretty rad. And I named the night "Play a Train Song" after there's a great East Nashville songwriter named Todd Snyder, who had a song called "Play a Train Song."
Okay.
And because there's railroads that run through East Nashville, and you know, the song was about a friend of his who used to always come out to the gigs and yell, "Play a fucking train song!" And that dude ended up dying. I think his name was Skip. He was kind of like this legendary East Nashville figure, like years back before, you know, East Nashville was, you know, became like, you know, popular like it is now. But so I named the night that, and it's an East Nashville song night where every week I have somebody come and like kind of guest to kind of, you know, not really open for me, but you know, they'll play before me, and they'll cover some East Nashville tunes, either, you know, by another East Nashville songwriter, about inspired by East Nashville. I'll do the same thing, play after them, and then you know, every week I learn a new East Nashville song or two, and it's like a good thing to have every week. You know, it keeps me on my toes. Repetition and consistency is fucking huge, man. I mean, it's like we were talking about writing with the journalists.
Yeah.
You know, I was working at the newspaper. It was like, no, it was like a job, and like a lot of it kind of sucked, you know. But I was writing every fucking day, dude, for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I got good, you know, because like, how could you not?
Well, people gave you awards, and we're just like, yeah, you're fucking good. Here's proof that you're good. Here's this little trophy that says your name on it.
I know, I gotta. know, if you're kind of the person who like thinks about things a lot, I mean, you got to ask yourself like, well, why am I doing this? You know, am I expecting anything out of it? Do I just like it? Is it for me? Is it for somebody else? I mean, because it is like entertainment, right? You know, and we are like gigging and shit. You know, we're not just like playing at home. You know, we're playing. I mean, a lot of people are musicians, but they have no desire to perform.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I think like being a musician, but being like a performing musician is like a. I mean, why?
Well, here's my.
We're not making any money. We're not. You know, we're not.
Exactly. It's just kind of like my whole take on it is, as a drummer, I've always thought to myself, it's like, all right, how good can I get at this?
Yeah.
As a performing musician, it's more of people are still asking me to play.
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing that keeps me playing. It's just like, I got the time. Let's go do this. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, $50 to split between 4 people? I got the time. Let's go do this. You know? But, I mean, for me, the drumming was all just kind of like, all right, I was just curious how good I could get at it. You know? Didn't really think about making money or anything like that. And then the touring thing came along, and I was just like...
Well, that's how it should be. I mean, you know, the Rolling Stones didn't set out to be the Rolling... Yeah, I mean, you know, they're just like a couple dudes who were like into blues, you know, like met somewhere with, you know, I mean, they just like the same shit. I mean, it's got to...
Freddie,
you're fired.
Alright, this show's definitely where it's every time we say Freddie, just back and forth, just like, Freddie.
Freddie, come here.
Hey, Freddie. Come here. Alright, we're gonna finish this interview by me doing cornrows on Freddie for the rest of this conversation. And then we're all gonna sing Gin and Juice together.
Roll a joint in the bushes.
Get my hair done down on the stoop. Me and my boy Snoop.
Just smoke
And
that.
Freddie.
You gotta roll that.
Yeah. Freddie. Yeah, there's people outside. Well, shit. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Jack? You got any shout-outs you want to give? Freddie?
Freddie. I'd like to give a shout out to Freddie Johnson over here for fucking yelling at us.
This is officially the Freddie interview.
I know, we're trying to... Freddie, you want a beer? We should have got him drunk so we passed out.
Probably just be parked. We're gonna cut into this. Jack,
Alright.
appreciate you coming on and being on here.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Hey, what time is it?
Oh, it's beer 30. Once and all, a beer from my mouth to my balls. We'll probably edit that out. Alright. Thanks you guys for watching. Let's go shoot the intro.
Ups the come with it, do ba ba ba, skip it up, do ba do bee, ba ba da boop ba da da ba da ba ba do. Thanks for watching the show, da ba da da ba ba do ba 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 dee da ba ba da da boop ba ba ding, dee ba ba do ba boo da ba.
Oh, god damn.
It's like the 4th of July! You still filming?
Yeah.
You just played with Jack Johnson. What are you doing next?